Welcome everyone to the International Wind Association weekly interviews. And today I'm joined by Giovanni Bordogna, who is
Hello,
one of the...
Gavin.
Hi, Giovanni. Giovanni is one of the co-founders of Blue Wasp Marine company. And he holds a PhD in marine engineering from TU Delft and has been working in the wind propulsion world for about 7 years, mainly researching the aerodynamics of wind-assisted propulsion. So the smart guy in the room today. Hi, Giovanni.
Hello, Gavin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, great. Really looking forward to talking to you. But first, I'm going to play your short presentation. So sit back and everybody enjoy.
Blue Wasp is a recently established engineering company specialized in wind assist. We offer expert and independent technical advice to exploit the unique fuel savings of wind-assisted propulsion. The company was co-founded by two PhD researchers from TU Delft in January 2020, Giovanni Bordogna and Nico van der Kolk. They worked together on a sail assist project with the aim to gain a thorough understanding of the physics of wind assist. Together, they have more than 10-year experience on wind-assisted propulsion, and they published several scientific articles on the topic. During the Sail Assist project, multiple wind tunneling campaigns on wing sails and flattener rotors were carried out with a focus to understand their full-scale realistic performance. At the same time, hundreds of CFD simulations validated with towing tank experiments were performed on different hull shapes representative of bulkers, tankers, ferries, but also modern Wasp vessels. This resulted in the Delft Wind Assist series, a unique systematic series that comprises more than 60 hull variants that will allow us to quickly and accurately estimate the hydrodynamic forces necessary to reach the sailing equilibrium of a generic commercial hull shape. Based on the outcome of our PhD research, we have developed the Blue Wasp Wind Assist model, a unique and versatile 4 degrees of freedom performance prediction program. By making use of algorithms developed from years of experiments and simulations, we can offer prompt, custom-made fuel savings calculations. The versatility of our software makes it particularly useful during the design exploration phase of a new project. We are currently participating in the WISP Joint Industry Project organized by the American Bureau of Shipping and Marine, with the goal to develop methods for transparent fuel savings calculations. The participants are some of the main players in the shipping industry. In this project, Blue Wasp is bringing its expertise on the flattener rotor aerodynamics. We are also offering our ongoing support for the routing work of the Tyndall Centre for Climate Change Research of the University of Manchester. In this case, the performance analysis is carried out at a fleet level for policy development and recommendations. We can count on an extensive network of partners, ranging from the academia, shipyards, CFD engineering companies, as well as shipping executives and project developers. With the support of our partners, we make sure to be actively present in the industry and to offer a comprehensive range of solutions tailored to our clients' needs. Blue Wasp offers a broad variety of services. We can provide an independent performance assessment of your fleet, fuel savings and power savings prediction calculations, possibly including weather routing, can be carried out for retrofits as well as for new build wind assist vessels. The analysis includes energy efficiency calculations to study how wind assistance can make your vessel future-proof with respect to the upcoming environmental regulations. The vessel assessment also contains a detailed information on the vessel behavior regarding its stability, maneuverability, and energy efficiency while using wind assistance. Our in-house performance prediction software lends itself to be the perfect tool for design exploration. During the early design phase, several prototypes can be quickly assessed and compared. Here, for example, the vessel has been evaluated considering different thread and rotor arrangements, different number of rotors, devices of different sizes, and several positions on deck. A study of this type can indicate, for example, which is the solution that ensures the largest fuel savings for a given capital investment. At Blue Wasp, we have a great deal of experience with model experiments and numerical simulations. We can support you with the performance improvement of your prototype, be it a new wind propulsion device or a whole Wasp vessel. We can also assist you with the development of in-house vessel models, or offer our hydrodynamic model plugin to existing performance prediction tools. The Blue Wasp Hydro model will allow you to readily assess the sailing capabilities of different ship types without the need to use complicated and expensive CFD simulations. Finally, on-board fuel consumption monitoring is the most direct way to assess the fuel-saving efficiency of a certain wind assist installation. Here we can support you with data interpretation and validation of fuel scale measurements. Please visit our website or send us an email to info@bluewaspmarine.com. We look forward to work together.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting, Giovanni. And we smoothly came out of the video there as well, which I think is pretty good. You know, that the package or the suite of your offering there is really interesting. I think as a customer coming into the independent performance analysis is going to be something that a lot of technology providers, but also ship owners are going to be interested in. And I just had a question there. From that technical point of view, when they come to you to talk about wind propulsion technology installations and performance, what are the most common questions that they ask?
You mean ship owners?
Yeah, the ship owners, and I'd also like to hear from the technical providers as well, but from the ship owners' perspective.
Yeah, so ship owners, like one of them, of course, main question is how much fuel can I save? And that's always a difficult question to answer because, of course, it depends on the type of ship and type of installation, where the ship is sailing, and so on. But also, it's also nice to see that once they get acquainted with the idea of wind assist, they realize that it's not only about that. It also depends on the actual behavior of the ship. So you need to look at some details proper of sailing, which are, for example, the leeway angle and the heel angle, how the sails influence the engine and the permeability of the engine, the rudder, and so on. So these are the main questions they're asked. And we can answer this question using our tools. As I said, the fuel savings is just the final answer. Once we run simulations, then we get all these details, and once we have all this information, then we can work out which are the fuel savings of that specific case that we analyze.
And you're talking about wind assist. Does this also include a more sort of a primary wind approach where you have wind as the primary propulsion giver or the direct energy provider, and then auxiliary engines? You're absolutely all that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the more now, what we see now, it's mainly retrofits with let's say some more substantial than others type of installations. The more substantial the installation is, and the more you go towards a sailing ship, fully sailing ship, so where the primary engine is wind powered, then the more in the interaction, the more important becomes the interaction between the hull and the sails. So in that case, the ship becomes more similar to a sailing vessel. And when that happens, you really need to look into some details that are not proper of ships. So you need to proper balance the ship. You need to proper dimension the rudders. You perhaps need to add a skeg or other fins in order to keep the the ship sailing along a straight course. So the more the installation becomes important, the more these effects also become important, and this is where our analysis becomes very important as well.
And so that makes complete sense. You know, I guess as you're increasing the reliance on any propulsive system, that's going to be the primary concern. I have a question about the technical providers, the technology providers. You know, when they come, or when you're approaching them, or they're approaching you for maybe some analysis of their systems. Are there any issues there around things like a release of data or you know, IP issues that they have with their technology development?
Yeah, of course, they're all pretty reluctant to share data. They always want to have, let's say, an NDA in place, but that's understandable. But as I said, we are an independent consultancy, so we are not focusing, we are not producing any propulsion system on our own. We just want to advise the ship owner which is the best device for their specific case. So as I often said, there is not a one clear winner. And there are different technologies and they work very differently. They might work, one might work better in a specific case and the other in another situation. So they're reluctant to share data, but then I think most of the time it's we can come to an agreement, and that's okay.
Okay, that's great. Now we're seeing quite an uptick in interest around wind propulsion systems. What's your take on it? You know, from you're one of the guys on the front line, or you're in that kind of nexus between the customer and the technology provider. What is driving? Why is such a big increase in interest in these systems?
Yeah, well, first of all, like as you mentioned in the beginning, I've been involved with wind assist since 2013, and I also remember the first time we met during the first WSA meeting back in 2014, and yes, many things changed by then. So we were going to conferences and in conferences, and you weren't taken seriously much when you were talking about wind assist, and things changed a lot compared to then, and that's it's great to see. And I think wind assist, there have been many publications, many studies that show that wind assist can offer consistent fuel savings, and that can happen now. And I think in the shipping industry now, shipping starts to feel the urgency that some measures needs to be taken right now in order to be aligned with the IMO and with the global industry decarbonization path. So I think yeah, the shipping industry is realizing that all the discussion towards around the future fuels, hydrogen, ammonia, and biofuels, and so on, which is of course very interesting, and it's glad to see that there is an improvement in that direction as well. But that might take years, and that might require a substantial investment before that can actually take place. Whereas wind assist, it's energy savings device that can be used nowadays, and it can provide substantial fuel savings nowadays. So I think the shipping industry is waking up and is understanding that wind assist can actually be the appropriate technology for this energy transition area.
Yeah, no, I think, and I would absolutely agree with you on that analysis. And interesting you brought up the fact that back in 2013-14, as we were setting up the association, yeah, the perspective, the perception of wind propulsion was very different.
Absolutely.
And I think the maturing, your organization and what the services you're providing are adding that layer of maturity into the market as well, where you've got independence, you've got validation going on. These are some of the, I think these are some of the de-risking and quality services that a lot of ship owners are actually looking for. Yeah, at this time. Now I'm gonna sort of broaden that out a little bit and say, okay, there are some issues around wind propulsion. and we hear these, for example, within the eye, you know, potentially around speed limits or power restrictions, navigation issues. What, in your opinion, what are the technical barriers, still technical or potentially regulatory barriers that still exist that are holding back wind propulsion?
Yeah, well, there will be, I think, one of the main reasons that I experienced that I hear why wind propulsion is not yet widely used. Well, first of all, that there are not so many vessels still that are equipped with the wind propulsion systems. That has been there has been a substantial increase in the past couple of years, so that's good to see. And I think the wind assist community needs to show that it can fulfill the promise that it made. So that of course requires some time, but I think this is happening. So that is good. I think that still the payback period, that it's let's say a term that it's always look at when you think about the advantage of using a certain technology or not, is still quite high, in the sense that the cost of these devices are still fairly high because there is not economy of scale, and the cost of oil is fluctuating a lot. It's been very low lately. So of course this is not playing good towards the payback. But of course this can be changed, and I think policies and yeah, there should be some policy in place, some new regulation enforced in order to steer ship owners away from carbon intensity fuels like HFO and type of fuels that are currently used on board of ships towards wind assist, for example. And some policies that I think will have this effect. There are the upcoming new IMO regulations, like the EXI, which is currently under discussion, or even the CII, which probably are likely to be enforced in 2023. I think there will be a major shift for the shipping industry because of all the CSI? CII?
CII. Yeah, what is that acronym for?
Carbon Intensity Index.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so they are likely to be enforced in 2023, and I think they will bring a major shift for in the shipping industry, because all the existing fleet need to be compliant. So I need to reduce, I think I'm not mistaken, by 20% their carbon footprint. So in that case, we could see a boom of retrofits for wind assists. Another major policy that could be game changer is a carbon tax. So carbon tax has been recently discussed at the EU level. I think they're discussing, if I'm not mistaken, about 30 euros per ton of CO2. Of course,
yeah, about 30 euros per ton. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the number exactly, but that's not what some people aim for, but at least it's a starting point. So I think there should be these policies, and I think these policies can really steer the shipping industry towards the right direction, and wind assist can really benefit from this.
So just to follow up on that, a couple of the things that I hear from the skeptics, and there are less skeptics in the market today than there were in 2014, of course. Often hear, okay, is it safe? Are wind propulsion systems safe? That safety issue has been hanging around, and I still hear it occasionally today. But we're seeing the classification societies, issuing their guidelines much more. We public guidelines, public available guidelines.
Yeah.
Well. So I'm gonna ask, are wind propulsion systems safe?
Well, I think so. Of course, again, the wind assist sector needs to prove that these devices are safe. Now we've seen about 10 installations with the flat net rotors and selling for some years now, and as far as I know, there have been no issues with that. So it looks safe. It looks like it can deliver what it promises. It's true that the classification society are also coming on board, and they're offering guidance for wind assist devices. As Blue Wasp, we are participating in a joint industry project called WISP, organized by the American Bureau of Shipping and Marine and some other major players of the shipping industry. And part of that discussion is to come up with a transparent method for performance prediction, but also for measurements, safety measurements, and safety regulations. Discussion also around how the EDI should be changed to properly take into account the wind assisted propulsion and so on. So I really think that the classification society understand which are the benefits that wind assist can actually bring, and they jump on board. And I think this trend will further increase in the coming years.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to break, and I'm going to give you some quick fire questions now. So yeah, a little bit like a quiz show. If you can restrict your answers to one sentence, not a yes or no, but a sort of one sentence level, that would be great. Okay. So I ask all my interviewees in some form, how did you get into the wind propulsion field? It's 2013. It was a very unusual field to enter.
Yeah.
What drew you to the field?
Yeah, so I was studying at TU Delft. I was doing master thesis on sailing yachts, and just after that, I was offered by my supervisor by the time, Professor Lex Coding, a PhD position on wind assist as a topic at TU Delft. And being passionate about sailing and being passionate about energy, green energy, and green tech, I accepted it, and that's how it started.
Right. Okay. Very clear. Okay. You worked in, or you researched the aerodynamics of wind assisted. What areas of research do you think, or have you identified, that we're still lacking in the sector? What areas interest you, and what areas do you think additional research really needs to be done?
I think that to take full advantage of wind assisted propulsion, we really need to reconsider how ships are sailed. Now there are some studies considering weather routing, changing the route, but also changing the ship and modify. Like if we give this freedom to the ship to adapt the route and to adapt its speed in order to take full advantage of wind assist, then that I think is game changing. There are some recent study that shows that there would be a dramatic improvement in a fuel savings if this happens. So we are collaborating with the Tyndall Center on this topic, and yeah, that's something that is interesting for us, and we are already working on this. So I think this could be. It will take some time to convince the industry to sail the ship differently, but that would be game changing in terms of fuel savings.
Interesting.
For wind assist.
No, I think the sort of integrating those changes along with the new technologies, I think you start to see real benefits, a new kind of paradigm of coming out there. Where do you see the wind propulsion sector, wind propulsion technology sector, say in 5 years, 2025 out to 2030? Where do you see it developing? Which sectors do you see maybe leading the area?
Yeah, so I think in 5 years from now, there will be a substantial increase of installations. I think it will be mainly retrofits, probably also due to this new IMO regulation like EXI and CII being enforced in 2023. I think in 10 years from now, wind assist will be fully accepted by the community, and perhaps it will be offered even by shipyards as a standard option, as now is happening with scrubbers. So I think it will take something like 10 years, I think, to be fully accepted. And by the time there will be hundreds of installations, probably, and hopefully proven that wind assist can actually make a difference. and by you say in 20 years from now or 30 years from now, there will be probably an energy mix. There will be some there will be more use of other fuels, green fuels like hydrogen, ammonia, or biofuel. But even by then, these fuels are likely to be very expensive. So whereas wind energy is free now, and most likely will be free even in 20 years. So I think wind assist, or by the time, will probably be also fuel sailing, or partial, like where wind will be the primary engine. It will be part of this energy mix.
No, I mean, I would completely agree about that hybrid approach there. I'm going to ask you one last question. In the future, what would be your dream project for Blue Wasp to be involved with, or team to be involved with?
Yeah, I think it would be great to be involved in a full design project of a new ship, of a new sailing ship. Now, we saw the Ocean Bird by Wallenius and SSPA, and I think it's great to see that. And I think it's really, let's say, futuristic in a sense that now we're talking about a little installation, whereas that is taking a whole new path. They're aiming at 90% fuel reduction, and that is great to see. So I would like to be involved in a project like that, perhaps using new devices that are not yet been discovered or properly researched. Yeah, I think that would be great, because I think it would really, we can really show what we learned during our studies, and how you can redesign a ship optimized for sailing and for wind assist.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, there is a huge pipeline of new technologies coming through, new ideas, and I get a little depressed when you talk about 2030 and beyond. 10 years, 20 years, I'll probably be retired by that time, or maybe not. I don't know, but
you never know.
But there are a lot of new teams, new companies getting involved.
Yeah.
And your own company, Blue Wasp Marine. It's a new, fresh approach to this, and I think you're going to do very, very well in that coming decade.
Thank you, Gavin.
Good luck with that, Giovanni.
Thank you very much.
So, but I'm going to let you give us a 1-minute sort of a roundup statement, or a takeaway statement. So, please, Giovanni, take it away.
Yeah, so we are Blue Wasp. We are an independent consultancy specialized in wind assist, and we are here to offer you consultancy and guide you towards wind assist application, and make you discover and exploit the fuel savings that wind assisted propulsion can offer you. So yeah, please get in touch, and we look forward to work together.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much to Giovanni Bordogna from Blue Wasp Marine. And I'd just like to round that off with, I'm sure that Giovanni's more than happy to answer all of your questions. He's obviously answered quite a few today in a very interesting presentation and discussion. And of course, if you want to get in contact with the International Windship Association, I'm more than happy to answer your general questions as well at secretary@wind-ship.org, and that's Gavin Allwright, I'm the secretary. So, Giovanni, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Gavin. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome, and we will be having another weekly interview next week. So everybody who's joining us today, stay safe, stay well, and fair winds to you all.